E stands for enthusiasm. Enthusiasm comes from the Greek word entheos. Entheos means full of life, full of energy, full of vitality. I always say the greatest bankrupt in the world is not a person who doesn't have money. The greatest bankrupt in the world is a person who doesn't have enthusiasm for this beautiful gift of life. We have two choices, my friends. When we get up in the morning, we can say, "Good morning, God," with a lot of energy and enthusiasm, or we can say, "Oh God, it's morning." Almost the same words, but a little twist, and that makes a difference to your day. And your days determine your weeks, and your weeks determine your months, and your months determine your years, and the years determine your life, my friends. So can we have a powerful, enthusiastic attitude? When enthusiasm is overflowing, it is contagious. It touches a lot of people and makes them also improve their performance. Your team members, like Jack Welch had said, I just don't want people with tremendous energy themselves, but I want people who can energize their teams. And enthusiasm is a great way to energize your teams. Enthusiasm also impacts your attitude. And as we all know, attitude determines your altitude. And the collective attitude of organizations determine the altitude for that organization. Let me give you one more example, and that is about Thomas Alva Edison. I know all of us know his story about how he worked till the light bulb was successful. And 1,000 times he failed, and people said, "Why don't you give up?" And he says, "I know 1,000 times why the light bulb doesn't work." But there's one more story about him that not many people know. And that story is about the fact that there was a major fire in his factory and research facility in Edison, New Jersey, when he was 67 years old. And everything was burned to ashes. And the first thing that he did was he called his son and said, "Go and quickly call your mother. She'll have never seen a fire like this before in her life." And because he was famous by then, a lot of reporters came, media came and asked, and one of them said, "Mr. Edison, you must be very disappointed. All your work of 67 years has been burned to ashes." And I love the reply that Edison gave. He said, "No, no, 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 my friends. Now all my mistakes are wiped out. I will do more in the next 33 years of my life than what I have done in the first 67. That is the attitude. Nobody has control over how long we live. But if we live and plan that we will live long, we will not only live long, but we'll have a quality life. Thomas Alva Edison passed away at 84, 17 years after that unfortunate accident. But every year after that, he had a new patent to his name. Today, he holds the record even now of the highest number of patents in the history of mankind to one person's name. So he wasn't working only on the light bulb. He worked on many, many things. Because sometimes when I share this story, some people say, "No, it was okay." Before I talked about the 1,000 patents, they say that it's all right. He probably spent his whole life working only on the light bulb. That's not true. He worked on many, many other projects. Stress mastery. I mean, as you see, lot of stress worldwide. And the pandemic has, of course, added more stress. Sickness, tiredness, headaches, health, no sleep, quality of sleep, quantity of sleep, fears and worries, anxiety, savings are less, time management is not good, late nights, right? Payments to be made, debt, expectations from self and others, very, very stressful. So what is to be done? We must manage our stress. Again, when I go to organizations, there are two types. One who say, "Okay, in our organization, we don't have much stress. You know, the way our workforce works." Then I ask them that second question, "Great, but would you like your people to be more energized?" And they say, "Yes." So then we share, techniques and tips by which they can energize the workforce to a completely different level and perform better. Are stress levels rising today? The answer is yes. American Institute of Stress before the pandemic had found that workplace stress costs more than $300 billion each year in healthcare, missed work, and stress reduction. And that's before the pandemic. I'm sure if they were to do a survey now, it probably would be even more. So what is stress? Stress is our internal response to any situation that we find hard to manage. There's good news and bad news in this definition. The good news is it is my response. The bad news is we sometimes blame other people, we blame other situations, we blame the organization, we blame the government for causing us stress. And the reality is no person or no organization can cause you stress unless you allow them to cause you stress. There are ways to deal with stress. So the relationship between stress and job performance. When stress is low, job performance is also low because there is what we can call a chalta hai attitude or a carefree attitude. But when stress rises, performance improves. That is why when we have targets, when we have deadlines, we always perform better. But when it goes up too much, then that's when performance actually starts to decline. And not only performance starts to decline, but other things start declining. Example, besides productivity, health. Health takes a beating. And many times when I ask people what is health, they say, good, yeah, fitness, physical fitness, mental fitness. Some people add a little bit of emotional fitness. But my definition of health is different. And it is health is a jubilant feeling of well-being at the physical, mental, emotional, social, and spiritual levels. 5 dimensions of health. And somewhere or the other, most people are weak at that. Okay, so stress drains energy. And many times we find that at the end of the day, we have not done much, but we are very tired. And some days we've done a lot, and we are still very ready to go and do more. It's because of stress. And finally, stress can strain relationships. More divorces occur than ever in the history of mankind because either one or both of the partners are stressed, whether they realize it or not. So it's a big price to pay, and therefore it is important to manage stress well. And therefore, my program called Achieving Excellence Through Stress Management is popular worldwide. Before the pandemic, I used to fly by helicopter. I'm HUET certified, which is helicopter underwater egress training, how to save yourself and others if the helicopter capsizes in the ocean. And I used to go to these British gas platforms in the Indian Ocean and run 2-hour stress management programs. I spent a lot of money just on my helicopter ride, besides my fees, because they found value, right? So today, I'm just going to share with you one simple tip. I mean, we don't have the time in this short session to go into more, but my request is laugh regularly. Laughter is the best medicine, right? And if you can't laugh in public places, at least smile. Do not think that the world you are carrying is, the whole weight of that world is on your shoulders, right? Be lighter. The more light you are, the more you can perform better. When we travel abroad, if there is, or even in India, if there's excess baggage, we pay a price to the airline. And therefore, we are very careful. We do not pack extra than what we need. We don't want to pay the few hundred rupees if you're traveling internally in India domestic, or a few thousand rupees a kilo if you're traveling abroad. But we carry this strain and stress on our head and mind, which really prevents us from performing our best. Instead of living in the present tense, we often end up living tense in the present. And that really takes away our true potential possibilities. So laugh more, smile more. And finally, I come to the T. So V was for vision, E was for enthusiasm, S was for stress mastery, and T is time management and trust. So just a line on time management. Thomas Watson of IBM, when he took over as the CEO of IBM, he said that the most important principle of corporate management is time management. And therefore, he put all the IBMers through time management programs because he believed so much in the value of time management. I believe time is equal to life. And if we master our time, we can master our life. And therefore, very, very important to work on this for ourselves individually, as well as for our teams and for our organizations. And final is trust. trust in yourself, and trust in your team. The self-confidence is trust in yourself, and trust in your team will make the amazing things happen. We really have heard this before, the acronym for team, which is together everyone achieves more. But for me, I've rechanged that acronym to together everyone achieves miracles. That is possible through real good teamwork. And if we can become good team players within our organizations, and if we can lead teams better, we can definitely help to unleash the potential and have more inspiring high performance like you see over here.